Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying tuned in. Well, it's time now to start taking all of your stock-related queries. But before we do that, the number that you can write to us is flashing on your screens as well as on the top of your screens. Do remember to mention the buy price for the stocks that you're already invested in, and for the ones that you hope to be investing in, do remember to mention the time horizon that you then have in mind. But with that in mind, let's also kickstart the show, start taking all of your stock-related queries, and we already have a lot of queries pouring in. And we have Kunal Botha ready with us, as well as Rajesh Agarwal, Head of Research, AUM Capital, waiting by to start taking all of your stock-related queries. Good morning, gentlemen. Firstly, I wanted to come to you, Kunal, because the first one that we have is coming in about Trent. 10 shares at a buy price of 6,500 rupees is what Radhakrishna from Bangalore is holding on to, and Trent is definitely in the spotlight. So what do you have to say when it comes to this particular counter?
Good morning to all of you. So on Trent, my belief is that the stock is trying to form a base as well as a bottom. Now the evidence on the charts, when we look at it in terms of the technical part, I think still indicates that maybe the volatility could continue for the stock over the near term, because historically Trent has been just about a one-sided stock on the upside in the last 2 years or so, when the stock moved from 3,500, 4,000 levels to almost 8,000 plus mark. That was a point where the stock gave a consistent kind of an upside. But this is the first phase of volatility. My sense is that this volatility may continue for some more time. But I think since you're a long-term investor, I would suggest that you should continue to hold on and try and take advantage of the corrections. Some sharp phases of corrections which happen to the stock. In case if it drops down to say 5,700, 750 levels, and then maybe falling towards 50 to 50 mark or 5,500 levels, those are zones where you should look to average further.
All right, and that's about Trent. But the next one that we actually have, Rajesh, is coming in from an investor who's writing to us about PCBL. Akash Mathur is his name, and he's writing to us about 400 shares that he's holding on to of PCBL at a buy price of 400 rupees. Now, he's saying that it had gone to 580, but it's since then crashed. At this point, he still wants to know if he should holding on at this point.
Good morning, Sharji. Good morning, Kunal. Good morning, Cheryl. As far as PCBL is concerned, we have been very bullish on the stock since very long period of time, and we are still very bullish on the fundamental prospects of the company going forward. If somebody is ready to hold for 12 to 18 months, we would even recommend a buy at these levels. It's one of the largest companies in carbon black manufacturing, having operations across the world. All their plants in India are having their own power, so the power is used in-house and the extra power is sold to grid. They have even bought a chemical company. They are moving big into chemicals. So all things are very positive for the company. Yes, this quarter numbers were a little bit subdued because of various other reasons rather than the company's own. And going forward in the next 2 years, we think this company can grow phenomenally. So if one's funds allow, one can even add to that.
Right. Please, let me come to you once again, Rajesh, because this one is an earnings candidate, is reacting to his numbers as well. We have Supratim Chakravarti, who's bought about 285 shares of Aarti Industries, and the buy price for this particular counter is about 540 rupees per share. Long-term investor, continue to stay put with this, or what sort of strategy should our viewer actually use when it comes to Aarti Industries, given the fact that this one also is heavily dependent on what exactly happens when you talk about the global trade war as well?
See, as far as trade wars are concerned, these tariff wars are not going to help any country as such. Everybody would be in a loss, be it US or be it other countries. But having said that, I think the fundamentals of Aarti Industries are strong. In the short term, maybe there would be effect of these tariff wars going on. But with the kind of traction the entire chemical space is showing, and with the kind of correction it has witnessed in the last 12 to 18 months, I think it's high time these stocks start performing. So if you have a long-term horizon, continue to hold.
All right, so that's a whole recommendation coming in on Aarti Industries. The next one, Kunal, that we have is a very interesting query coming in from RG Rao, writing to us from Trichy. He wants to know about a whole host of stocks because he's saying his portfolio has declined by about 15% and he wants to use this opportunity to deploy the 2 to 3 lakhs lump sum that he has at this point. Now, the stocks that were there in his portfolio are Reliance Industries, SBI, L&T, ICICI Bank, Sun Pharma, as well as BHEL. What do you make of this then?
Yeah, I think it's a good set, a good mix of stocks from your portfolios, when you have large cap names like Sun Pharma, then Reliance Industries, SBI, etc. and then few select mid cap names like BHEL. So I believe that it's a good set of portfolio. You can look to average at current levels, because I think most of these stocks, they have come back into a zone where the sharp correction phase, or the phase of sharp correction, has ended, and it seems like that many of these stocks are now going through a time-wise consolidation, which could probably indicate that the risk reward would start to originate better for these names. So it's a good set of portfolio stocks. I would suggest to hold on, and potentially you can even average further at current levels.
Right. Let me take this next query then, and this one is coming from Satyaveni, who wants to know about BEL, 2,000 odd shares at a price of 319 rupees per share. Can hold, exit, or average at what price? Kunal, what's your take coming in on BEL? Given the fact that this one also is bearing a tiny bit of a brunt of what exactly happened in the budget. Most of them thinking that the capex journey won't sustain, but that's not the fact, right?
Yeah, absolutely not. And I think that's what you need to try and take opportunity of, in terms of the phases where the stocks suddenly go into an event-based correction. And especially I think for a stock like BHEL, where the stock fell very sharply from 300, 302 odd levels to almost 260, 265 odd zone for the stock. Those are rare kind of opportunities for longer term traders and investors who are looking to buy these stocks on sharper phases of correction. My belief is that the stock should stabilize, and we could be looking at a point where many of these defense counters, so called, I think could probably try and make a very strong comeback. So the chart patterns are quite interesting. The stock indicates that a major or a near term bottom at least could be in the offing for many of these stocks. Would be bullish on BEL from a longer term perspective.
Alright, then that's the take coming in as far as BEL then is concerned. But time for a very quick breather in the show. When we come back, PBD coding the earnings, fine print of Castrol India with the management.
Welcome back. You're watching Buy Now, Sell on ET now. Let's continue taking your queries then. That was a long pause, hoping to see some sort of a revival in the markets coming in. But yes, let me start taking, or rather resume taking all of your stock related queries then. And this one is coming in from Gayatri from Chennai. GSFC is the counter, 120 shares at an average price of 220, and PNB is about 129 is the average buy price. Long-term investor is what Gayatri is. What should she do actually, Rajesh? Stay put with both of these counters or look to exit?
See, both are fundamentally strong companies. GSFC, in fact, has underperformed the market since quite a very long period of time, despite the fact that it is a Gujarat-based PSU and that a lot of regulations have come into Gujarat-based PSU regarding the dividend and all those things. I think one can continue to hold Gujarat State Fertilizers. The numbers have been good. As far as PNB is concerned, this quarter numbers were exceptionally better, I would say. It was way above expectation. And if this kind of performance continues, this kind of stock can give very good returns in the coming years. So one can add on every tips to PNB and continue to hold with GSFs.
We have Kunal, in fact, is coming in from Nagraj, writing to us from Bengaluru, is writing to us about Spark, 200 shares at a buy price of 300 rupees. Then what do you make of this one then?
I think it's been a big underperformer. The stock has corrected very sharply from 450 levels to now 150, and it still doesn't look like that the stock, but the major correction is out of the way. Now there could be a possibility that the stock may bounce back and give you that minor bit of a rally. But then when we look at the charts over the last 1 year or so, the stock has been consistently downtrending. So I would suggest that on any kind of a bounce back into the stock price, I think it's best time to try and get away and come back into the solid large cap pharma names.
All right, so that is all about Spark. Let me take this next one. Kunal, I'll come back to you. Sunil wants to know about JK Tyres, 300 shares at a price of 165 rupees per share. Should he continue to hold, add, or what sort of a strategy should he use for JK Tyres?
I'll just suggest to hold on to the stock, not to add at current levels, because there is still some time maybe that the stock may just about try to consolidate. Now the correction, of course, for JK Tyre has been very sharp from 550 levels to now almost 300 where it's trading right now. It seems like that maybe I think over the near term the intensity of the stock price could change, and from that sharp selling spree you might at least get a phase where the stock consolidates. So as of now, just hold on, let that phase of consolidation come by. If that happens, then we could probably be in a much more better position to try and define the range as well as the support points for the stock.
All right, so that's a take coming in as far as JK Tire then is concerned. In fact, the next one that we have, Kunal, is coming in from Gayatri, writing to us from Chennai, holding on to 120 shares of GSFC, buy price at 220 rupees, and 375 shares of PNB, then buy price was 129 rupees. But actually, Kunal, I'm going to go ahead and take it to Rajesh because this is a long-term investor writing to us. So this is Gayatri then writing to us about this. Rajesh, what do you think about it?
See, as far as Gujarat State Petro is concerned, I just stated that it can be continued for a long-term holding because of the fact that the numbers have been good. It's doing too well. Underperformed the markets as such, despite the fact that Gujarat companies have got regulation regarding dividend payouts and other things. So one can continue to hold Gujarat State Petro. And as far as PNB is concerned, the numbers have been pretty good this quarter, exceptionally well, I would say. And this kind of performance continues with the cleaning up of balance sheet and all. This stock can give very good returns. So one can add on dips on PNB.
All right, Rajesh must have felt kind of a feeling of deja vu, right, Rajesh? Because you did speak about Gayatri's query a short while ago, but nevertheless, let me take the next query then. Kunal, wow, you're smiling, Kunal. That's a nice, that's a good healthy sign, I think so, which means that the markets, yeah, near the days, as you're smiling tick by tick chart, I'll ask Soma to show, look at the markets now near the day's highest point. If you look at the charts, there you go, see, Kunal.
Yeah, I managed to type very aggressively so that the markets come up very high.
So let me take this next query then, and let's talk about CDSL. What's the right entry price? Sangeeta from Pune wants to know about it.
Well, I believe, I think, this could be a very interesting query because, there comes a point where many of the stocks which were favorites of the previous leg or the previous rally, they get back into a zone of a sharp correction. Now, once the market stabilizes, there is always an eager tendency that you'll try to latch on to the previous year's strong winners and then, try and buy these at, every available discount. But my sense is that you could probably be at a point where many of these erstwhile, favorites, they could probably come back into a zone where these stocks may underperform or at least remain into a consolidated phase for a prolonged period of time. So price-wise, yes, 1250, 1260 levels could be a good entry point for a stock like CDSL. But my only concern is that you would probably have to be a lot more patient than what you would probably be in the last few years when the stock was, going all guns blazing. So this time around, I believe that the trends could be a lot more different for stocks like CDSL. Your patience could be tested since if you're a long-term investor, you can start buying at current levels.
Alright, and patience is key when it comes to CDSL. That's the take coming in from Kunal. Rajesh, I'll come back to you because GMR Airport is the next one that we are getting a query about. B. Soumya is writing to us from Chennai, wants to know if she should hold or average at this point because she bought GMR Airport at a buy price of 80 rupees. What do you make of this one?
The kind of travel and tourism booming in the country, every airport is jam-packed like a bus station, I would say. And with the kind of announcement in the recent budget the last week that many more new airports will be built, I think the airport story is going to be there for some more time. But at this point of time, all the positives as of now has been discounted in GMR Exports. And for a meaningful upside to be there, there has to be some upside on the numbers. So one can continue to hold for medium to long and review its performance quarter on quarter. But adding at this point of time would be suggested.
Right, so that's the take coming in on GMR Airports. Let me take this next query then, and this next query that is coming in from Vidya from Bangalore wants to know about Tata Chemicals 100 shares at a price of 948 rupees per share, holding on for the last 3 years, but no significant appreciation. Should she exit, or would you suggest another Tata stock that she can look to buy in right now? Kunal, what's your take coming on Tata Chemicals? I know this one is reacting to its numbers, but 948 is the buy price. She's been saying that for the last 3 years she's been holding on to. So now what should she do?
Yeah, and the stock continues to disappoint. I've been tracking the stock over the last couple of years, and especially at a point when 1100 seems to be a major supply zone or a resistance point for Tata Chemicals. I think there were like 4, 5, 7 attempts for the stock to break past about those levels, but then it's managed to see a sharp selling from those zones, and it's managed to consistently make a a pattern where the resistance have been capped out for the stock at higher levels, and then the stock keeps on falling and making new lows for itself. So doesn't come as a surprise that the stock is underperforming many of the chemical stocks even this leg. I believe that if you are looking to jump to another, say, same set of a stock, same set of a sector, then I would suggest that you can probably look at SRF or Navin Fluorine. That's a much more better bet, more stronger in evolved charts. And if you're looking at something from the Tata Group, then I would believe names like Tata Motors at current level, especially sub the 700 mark, could be an attractive bet from a long-term play.
Right, so that's the take coming in on those counters, but we have come to the end of this edition of Buy Now Sell Now. So thank you so much, Kunal, as well as Rajesh, for being part of the show and as well as taking a lot of stock related queries. But as we wind down this edition of Buy Now Sell Now, here's a quick note for all of our viewers. We have our producer who is Abhishek, who is actually signing off from the show as well as the channel today. So thank you so much, Abhishek, for your contribution for the show and being a very integral part of Buy Now Sell Now. I must say we will all miss you, but nevertheless you have handed on the baton to Somashri. So she's taking the entire journey forward, isn't she?
Absolutely, and Abhishek, you will be dearly missed. That's
Absolutely.
a fair one.
But with that, we come to the end on today's edition of Buy Now Sell Now. See you tomorrow.